Firstly, I'd just like to honor the ancestors, caretakers of this land, the Indigenous peoples. My sacred name is Bald Eagle Woman Who Leads. My Christian name is Doreen Spence. I will speak to the topic of aging and elders by sharing my personal story with you. I was blessed to be raised by my grandparents of the Cree Nation, who exemplified strong values and made an extra effort to pass on the teachings to ensure the culture would be available to future generations. They did this through oral traditions. I recall Dad had a certain whistle, which told me it was time to play hide and seek. I would hide immediately. It was not until I was a parent myself that I discovered that, in fact, it was not a game, and they were protecting me from the Indian agents or the RCMP who were scooping children and taking them off to residential schools. That was their way of protecting me. I am grateful to them for this amazing insight and awareness. I cannot imagine how difficult it was for my grandparents, who were left with no children within the communities. Their vital role in our communities were left abandoned with no one to mentor and teach. The intergenerational impacts that the legacy of the residential schools have had on our elders and our community members today is why the road to reconciliation is so important. The gratefulness and the blessings that I have because I did not go to residential school are indescribable. They spared me the trauma and the suffering that many of our current elders have had to deal with. There are many who suffer from PTSD, from various traumas such as sexual, physical, mental, and spiritual, emotional abuse. Not everyone is fortunate enough to know their language, their songs, their creation stories. I do not take this knowledge for granted. The role of healthy elders in our lives and our culture is imperative, and the essence of who we are as Indigenous peoples. The wisdom, knowledge of nature, the natural laws, the multiple roles that they play in our community cannot be understated. They are mentors, educators, healers, ceremonialists, storytellers, and above all, they impart great wisdom. In our traditional ways, the respect for these knowledge keepers as they age means that they become like our children. We honor them and we baby them. We take care of them. We do not neglect or abuse them. I always ensure that I'm a balanced human being, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, before I can help anyone else. The healing begins with me. This has allowed me no other option than to carry on our culture and our stories. I knew that from when I was a very young child. My role as a healer in both the traditional and Western sense is not so different. It is no surprise that I chose nursing as a career. It complements the traditional practices in some ways. Trust me, it was not easy, though. I wanted to break every myth and stereotype and prove everyone wrong, and I was persistent. I would always exemplify the sacred teachings. I knew why I was here upon the planet, and I brought this with me when I worked as a nurse. My great-grandparents were such an amazing influence on me, as they would teach me traditional healings about medicines and about the natural ways, which I still practice today. These are connected to our sacred ways. I have a vision for a society that embraces elders and traditional knowledge. Leading your life as an example for our young people to build up our elders in the making. I have experienced that people are becoming more mindful, conscious, and aware. This provides an opening for us to have compassion and understanding of other peoples. I see people in my community that have a certain balance in their lives, especially the women, who are both university educated and understand their traditional ways. This is the driving force for future generations, lived experience and learned experience. You have to be your authentic self. That is the key to it all. I have worked on indigenizing programs at post-secondary institutions, and those make an impact on others and it spreads. I'm very pleased of the work that I have done with the Faculty of Nursing at Mount Royal University. We had a field school experience in Hawaii, and their elder and I were able to promote a new experience for them. We shared ceremonies with them that allowed them to grow as human beings, to let go of their issues and work on being balanced. This is transformative change. Another amazing outcome of this experience for those nurses is the realization that globally, Indigenous peoples have shared teachings that connect us to Mother Earth. At 80 years of age, today I host vision quests, sweat lodges, and other sacred ceremonies in support of building healthier communities and leaving a legacy for others. This is something that my grandparents taught me. What impact do you leave upon the earth? Hi, hi, Naskum.